What do we do in a world when I saw Web 2 and I'm like, oh my God, this is my chance to build, to change how I see the financial world. I'm tired of listening to Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg, and I can't afford a Bloomberg, and I hate CNBC. What I didn't predict, of course, because I'm not that smart, is that instead of one CNBC or one Jim Cramer, we'd have 100,000 of them. That mental model didn't work for me. Same as exponential and everything else. So in this world, where even the people I trust the most have a different view on the same trend, you and JC, like have you on the exact same show, you agree fundamentally about everything you just said, except underneath it all, there's a little difference. How do we deal with the tech bros that now all of a sudden are macro experts who have never really had to think about macro, right? And they're now advising millions of people, and no one, relatively few watch our show. How do we rise above that noise? How do we get the good advice out to people about what you guys just said? Because I'm having a hard time like putting it all together because none of the fundamentals make sense. Even a guy like Matt Levine yesterday was writing about Trump and saying maybe fundamental, and he's right. He's just so caught up in his own head, even Matt Levine, that he can't just have a laugh full time and say fundamentals never really mattered. It's only an 80-year-old.
Sometimes you just have to laugh.
Right. It's
Raoul?
only an 80. He can make me laugh, but he won't laugh himself, Matt Levine, because he's still anchored to this 80-year lifespan of fundamental analysis. It really just came out of nowhere. There was no fundamental analysis until the SEC demanded quarterly numbers. So in a world that fundamental analysis is relatively new, and now we're getting back to pure art, pattern recognition, and technical analysis, he just said this yesterday, April 1st, not on April. It wasn't an April Fool's joke. And he used the Trump SPAC as the flippening for him. And he's so on it, but so far behind at the same time. It's blowing my mind.
I'll take it this way. There's a recognition, and I think this began, you can trace it back, but I think one prominent example was the whole meme stock phenomena. But there's a fundamental recognition that's occurring right now because of our access to noise and because of our access to information that we're all being fed bullshit, and it's an opaque universe that we're living in, and that we don't really know what's going on. And so any clarity that we have in terms of the blockchain and really being able to see real time what JC was talking about before, we could see what the whales are doing real time, or any time that we're fed bullshit, it's just to point your finger. Hey, that's bullshit. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go buy dog with hats because what you're telling me is as much, Graham and Dodd is as much bullshit as anybody else. Dog with hat. And I'm just going to go buy the dog with the hats and just forget about anything you're saying because it's all bullshit. And I call bullshit on you. And so as a response, we saw the same thing in the early 20th century with Dadaism, which everybody looks at Dadaism, that art movement, as it was like, this is just ridiculous. But underneath it, it was a political statement that was being made. So when you had a golden toilet or whatever the piece of artwork was, it was a statement being made about the society. So I think there's something underneath in the meme coins, something underneath in meme stocks that is pointing, or it's underneath that, where even with the Trump, the golden shoes or whatever, that's just this idea of we're just pointing bullshit at everything.
We could have an hour-long conversation about memes, which I think we should do at some point. But
it was with me, I think. I called you and I just needed a download, no?
Yeah, but I think we can do I think there's a show actually to talk about this.
Yeah, we'll do it for sure.
It's really important to understand that memes rule the world. Religion is nothing more than a meme. Everything is memes. That's how humans communicate with each other. All value is memes. Gold is a meme. Everything is a meme. Okay, so that's fine. But let me give you a number that I think people need to understand. Americans spent $110 billion on lottery tickets last year. There's a 1 in 300 million probability of getting the payout. Of a smaller payout of, let's say, $1 million, it's probably 1 in 20 million. But if you go to the meme coin casino in a trending market, your probability is probably 20x better. So if you are a 25-year-old, you have no chance of buying a house, the S&P's too goddamn expensive for you to buy it, here's your opportunity. You can make 100x, 1,000x, 10,000x. We've seen them all in the last 2 months. And so, of course, it's going to attract people, and it's rational behavior because they don't have a way out. So even, Phil, your example of Bitcoin going from 60,000 to 1 million, that's a 14x. That's not going to move the dial for somebody with $5,000. So they have to take risk.
And the beautiful thing about the technology this time, and I said this, there's 2017 on StockTwits when Bitcoin messages surpass spy messages, which might have been a short-term top, but to me, I wrote about this is a sign that it's not going away. The too hot, too loose. Reddit sees the future. Twitter's real time. StockTwits is drafting just behind that, the community. So that was a message to me. Then during the crisis, the crypto crash, the stablecoin depegged. I think it was USDC. And I said, if this doesn't implode and gets back to zero, we've now crossed, USDC was trending on StockTwits. First time it had ever happened. I'm like, this means something or nothing. If it stabilizes back to par, we're in a new paradigm.